If you've signed up for the new Spider-Man Magic the Gathering pre-release, we need to talk. See, I just signed up for my first MTG pre-release in over 25 years. Not gonna lie, I'm excited, but also a bit nervous. So if you have any tips or advice for a returning player for pre-release, drop your wisdom in the comments. So okay, typical type 5 Enneagram stuff, I did my homework, so let's talk about those 5 big archetypes in the new Spider-Man set that's coming out. Web slinging, the quintessential Spider-Man ability. It's a new mechanic in Magic. It's basically an alternate casting cost. So instead of the regular cost, you play the web slinging cost and return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Note that if you don't have a tapped creature, it doesn't work. But with web slinging, you're essentially bouncing cards back to your hand to cast a card for cheaper, and you get to play that bounce card again later and reuse its entry trigger. For example, if Gallant Citizen is tapped, you can play Spider-Man Web Slinger for its web slinging cost, and then play Gallant Citizen again to draw a card. Mayhem. Any hero is only as good as his villains, and Spidey has quite the rogues gallery. Mayhem is a new mechanic that allows you to cast a card from the graveyard as long as you discarded it in the same turn. So you're looking for cards that have discard abilities, which you can then pair with Mayhem cards to cast for cheaper, right? For example, Green Goblin Revenant makes you discard a card whenever he attacks. So you discard Swarm, Being of Beast, to cast him using Mayhem from the graveyard, which is cheaper. Connive. This is a returning mechanic. It fits right in with the villains, both thematically and mechanically. When a creature you control connives, you draw a card. Then you discard a card. If you discarded a non-land card, you put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So you're drawing more cards, buffing your creatures, and discarding what you don't need, or discarding to enable a Mayhem synergy. For example, you can use Mob Lookout to buff an existing card on your board, discard Chameleon, Master of Disguise, and then play Chameleon with his Mayhem cost. Superheroes and villains are known for their gear, and that's represented by the modified keyword. So a modification refers to equipment, auras you control, and counters. For example, when Silver Sable, Mercenary Leader, attacks, you give a modified creature you control lifelink until the end of turn. So the +1/+1 counter Silver Sable herself gives, that counts as a modification. Also connive cards and equipment cards like these web shooters. Finally, there's the large spells, the big boys in red and green that synergize with these other spells that you're casting for cheap. For example, Rhino Barreling Brute. Whenever Rhino attacks, if you've cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater this turn, you draw a card. Well, guess what? Even if you only spend 1 colorless and 1 red to cast Spider Islanders using Mayhem, it still counts as a spell with mana value 4 because that's the card's casting cost. So are you going to a pre-release event for this Spider-Man set? Is it your first? Is it your 100th? Let me know in the comments.